Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Harlequin here, and welcome to another episode of HarlequinCasts Dawn of War 2 Retribution. Here we are in the frigid, cold, unforgiving winteriness of Ice Station Obelis. A terrific 1 versus 1 map for a terrific 1 versus 1 game today. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look around this frozen little Arctic map. By the way, Friday, April 29th, I'm going to be giving away Dark Angel DLC codes to two random Twitter followers, perhaps more actually, because I'm getting more and more offers as this goes along here. So if you want perhaps to get in on some free swag there and get some free Dark Angel skins for your armies, all you gotta do is follow me on Twitter, HarlequinCasts. Good stuff there. Let's go ahead and take a look around the map here today. On the right hand side of the map, playing as the Warp Spider Exarch, we have the one, the only Holyhammer, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for this guy. Holyhammer, fantastic player. I've casted him live plenty of times in tournaments. Also, he was invited for the Dawn of War 2 Retribution pre-release tournament that I hosted for Relic Entertainment. Fantastic player, really enjoy watching his games. And his opponent today on the other side of the map as the Hive Tyrant is Mr. Nerd Hunter. Now, Nerd Hunter is actually Mr. Schranz once again. Now, just to give you an idea of my walkthrough when I'm looking for games, I get up, I look around, I log on, people start sending me replays, people start talking to me and saying, oh, have you seen this, have you seen that? And so I just make a short list of replays, and so I stockpiled like 4 games, and I said, okay, let me watch these and I'll pick them. I'll pick the good ones out and cast them. And all 4 of them had the same dude in it. They all had Schranz in them. He didn't win them all or anything like that, so no spoiler alerts. He lost plenty of them because they all came from different people. And he has a different name in every single replay. So I accidentally today watched 4 replays all featuring Mr. Schranz in them. And he's a pretty cool guy. Schranz fan is his name on the forums out there. And so we'll see him featuring this once again. Again, no spoiler alerts. They all came from different people here. So we'll go ahead and get this started and see what's going on here. So Schranz, once again, a good example of German onomatopoeia, actually referencing a form of electronic music popular in Europe. And Schranz, I believe, is speculated to simply be sounding a lot like the crunchy, low-fidelity percussion loops that are often typified in that electronic music genre and whatnot. So a little bit of random name etymology there. Holyhammer, on the other hand, references a hammer, which is holy, often carried by paladins and whatnot. That sort of thing, pretty useful anyhow. So the Warp Spider Exarch is beginning his nice little trek here across the map, blinking his way through the tundra and the snow and all of that sort of thing on this nice little ice station here. Capping away, we'll see already a very typical build from Holyhammer. He's got his starting Guardians, of course, and he went and grabbed his power node, upgrading it right away. Howling Banshees coming out second. You can see he's putting a little bit of priority on getting these power nodes out, and now just starting to grab Requisition Point, and fighting over this victory point a little bit here. Looks like the Guardians right now are just kind of engaged in a little bit of melee. We see some swatting going on here between swatting rifles around and some kicks and some other little delicate Eldar attacks going on here. And it looks like the Termagants were doing a pretty good job, but getting backed up by a second squad of Termagants here from Nerd Hunter. And again, I'm just going to call him Schranz because he keeps going by different names. And every single replay I've seen him in so far today, a different name. Central moving Howling Banshees going out. And again, Howling Banshees gonna bump into a bunch of Hormagants, and these Hormagants already wounded up a little bit. Oh no, unfortunately, choosing to take an awkward retreat path and going straight back through the Banshees, taking a few extra casualties there. Banshees on charge, on top of things, gonna be hanging out in the middle right now. You can see the Hive Tyrant here doing a little bit of backcapping, trying to grab this Requisition Point before it even has a chance to fully mature. He's taking a little bit of fire. That's fine. Just decapping it, trying to be annoying on that side. And the Termagants here are just kind of retreating away from the middle. Termagants, by the way, both of them, or no, just one of them is actually upgraded here with the Toxin Sacks. To respond in kind, the Warp Spider Exarch is also going to be decapping that Requisition Point. And more towards the center now, we can see the Hive Tyrant knocking back all of these lovely ladies as they're going to have to retreat right now, being poisoned up by a whole bunch of Termagants and whatnot. Ooh, even a nice looking sync kill there. Yep, there goes 2 models right there for that Howling Banshee squad. Hive Tyrant going to grab onto the central victory point, and the action just continues. So we see Holyhammer going with a pretty standard build here. Going to back himself up with a Shuriken Cannon team, good at suppressing big blobs of troops. And likely, as soon as Schranz sees that going on, he will respond in kind with a bunch of Ravagers with allowing them to tunnel up underneath stationary weapons platforms and whatnot. So, looking around here, looks like Schranz just spreading back out, capping the points that the Warp Spider xHarlequin has capped. I do like what I see here. Both power nodes upgraded. A single generator out there on the field right now for Holyhammer. Something that I talked about a little bit in my interview with Choco Bambus. Choco Bambus, Meet the Players #1. If you haven't seen it, check it out. He was saying that he tends to, as playing as, what was I going to say here? Playing as Eldar versus Tyranid, he tends liking to distribute his power across a couple different points and upgrading them, just because it helps out with map control, but it also prevents, or at least helps to prevent, very blobby gen bashing that tends to happen from a lot of really good Tyranid players here. So we can see Nerd Hunter here saving up his power. Hasn't really got anything yet, but he's definitely well aware of the Shuriken Cannon team out there. And now the Shuriken Cannon being backed up by a second Guardian squad. Sometimes you'll see players go for 2 Shuriken Cannon teams, but it looks like Holyhammer just wants the extra Guardians. Some more hand grenades and whatnot here. So likely we'll see some sort of a response from Nerd Hunter before he goes to Tier 2. And yes, exactly, he's going to be getting a Ravener Brood out there. So that all makes sense. Both of these players making rational decisions, reacting appropriately to each other's actions and whatnot here. We can see the Warp Spider xHarlequin continuing to hound away at these Hormagaunts as they are just kind of retreating along. Likely now going to be able to take control of the northern part of the map pretty well here. The Warp Spider xHarlequin backed up by Howling Banshees. Very brutal. Indeed, but brittle as well. Brutal. Brutal. Brittle, I don't know. I like puns, and that's not even really a pun. The words just sound the same, but you know, I am easily amused. Anyhow, great positioning here on the Southern Shuriken team as it's putting some pressure on the power generator, but here we have the counter as the Ravener Brood use their tunneling ability to pop up underneath them, slugging away at these guys, inflicting some casualties. It looks like Holyhammer's trying to maybe reposition, but he's definitely just going to have to retreat. No, he's actually making the right call. Silly of me to ever doubt you, Holyhammer. No, now he does have to retreat. It looks like he was trying to just walk away and hope that the focus fire from the Guardians would be enough to drive back the Raveners, but they were pretty persistent and doing a lot of damage here, actually, getting into melee. And now here we have the Hive Tyrant kind of charging his way into battle right now. And things are kind of breaking apart for Holyhammer on the left-hand side right now, taking a lot of casualties, dropping a grenade right there. I think that actually killed one of his own models, but kind of trying to cover his retreat there. If it didn't kill it, it certainly blew it apart, because those are definitely little Eldar bits and pieces there. And again, being very conservative here. You can see Holyhammer knows he has to get out of here. A lot of other players might just spam the X button and instantly retreat, but he doesn't want to give up ground that early. He's going to continue to fight it out a little bit, covering his retreat. These are good tactics here in general. You can see retreating with one squad, covering fire, retreat with the other squad, covering fire. Good habits there of good players. A little bit of a sync kill by the Hive Tyrant. That Hive Tyrant is quite a tank, though, and he's definitely going to be distracting away here. You can see him now kind of charging into melee, but now the Shuriken Cannon team is set up. He's going to get suppressed and have to get out of there. So kind of intense micro going on. These are fairly significant kind of early game battles in terms of just determining who has the initiative and who's got the tempo advantage here. And a lot of intense micro going on early game. This is oftentimes where you can get the most appreciation, for how skilled your opponent is, just based on these little details here about how they control their units early game. More towards the north, we can see the double Termagants, who are always seen together here. They are quite the tight clique. Going to be just moving around capping. I would have expected to cap that requisition point, but apparently they have gen bashing on their mind and would rather do that instead. Hormagaunts up top as well, capping points here. Just to recap on the score right now, it is 476, 2-1, Holyhammer's advantage, and it looks like Schranz has got 328 points right now. So he's down a little bit, but certainly fighting back pretty hard here. And things are looking pretty good. Schranz here taking the initiative, going all the way up to Tier 2, and Holyhammer should be there any moment now. He is probably just focused on other objects at the moment. Yeah, you can see a little bit of a micro battle going on here, and as soon as his attention bounces back, he jumps right into Tier 2 as well. Not that far behind at all. Taking a look up north here, we can see that the Shuriken Cannon team is now being set upon by a bunch of Hormagaunts. However, they took horrendous losses charging in there, just getting focused by all of Holyhammer's Guardian squads, who both of them being upgraded right now with battle equipment. Lots of chance for plasma grenades there and whatnot. And the Warp Spider xHarlequin continuing to exact some punishment on these gentlemen as they're all being forced to kind of retreat right now. You can see that the Eldar army is just kind of closing in. Unfortunately, the Howling Banshees there were out of cover, taking a little bit of damage there, but for the most part, Holyhammer is in charge of the situation, going to be able to split up and cap some of these points, maybe even taking out this juicy requisition point here. We can see a little bit of fleet of foot helping him reposition his Guardians, and the Warp Spider xHarlequin having no problem capping the power nodes and that sort of thing. Looks like the Hive Tyrant is heading down south right now to try and take a whack at grabbing this victory point. And you can see that this Shuriken Cannon team was just getting ready to come down here and set up, and now is just going to probably be chased away by the Hive Tyrant because he'll just be able to run them down before they ever get a chance to suppress. But luckily, again, Holyhammer having good reflexes, not just going to retreat right away if he can come in and distract away and provide some backup here with the rest of his troops. We'll see the Hive Tyrant, once again, this is very typical so far of the games I've seen by Schranz, has no problem whatsoever using that bonded exoskeleton first and going for invulnerability rather than going for any sort of charging or any other abilities like that. And note, by the way, great use of the Warrior Brood Colin upon exactly hitting tier 2 there. Just going to go ahead and bolster his numbers a little bit more using that Hive Tyrant ability there. So now he does have some Warrior Broods on the field, and that was definitely important in being able to push back that Shuriken team there. So good win of the initiative there for Schranz. Looking more towards the north here, we can see some continued battles going on around this power generator right now. We do have the Warrior Brood being backed up by the Ravener Brood. The two of them having fun kind of palling around with a couple of Guardians and whatnot. But now, unfortunately, the Raveners are being set upon by all of these Howling Banshees. Howling Banshees are screaming like crazy, getting into combat, and the Shuriken team is positioning here. Note, by the way, good use of energy shields just to provide a little bit of extra cover from the range damage that's back there. Always nice to see those abilities getting used. That, of course, comes from the Guardian squad when they have the battle equipment upgrade there. Howling Banshees, however, just simply taking too much damage, and the Warrior Broods really leading the charge as well. Getting in there, not being afraid to just do some damage. Definitely driving back those forces there, being forced to retreat now. Not exactly sure why he actually retreated with those warriors. They looked like they were fine. Had a lot of hit points here, but now he's really just driving back with all of his troops there, unfortunately. So that was interesting. I'm not exactly sure why Schranz lost that battle and had to retreat like that. You can see he's still doing quite well here, even with just the 2 Termagants, putting pressure on this Warp Spider Exarch, who's trying to perhaps just slow them down, keep them in melee as the Guardians catch up here. You can see he is definitely forcing melee as much as he can, keeping them from attacking. Now standing still, blinking around, putting some pressure on the rest of these gentlemen here. Looking at the center, we do see the Shuriken team capping that central victory point. And there's quite a lot of fighting going on down south. Oh, we had some Warp Spiders. I believe they were summoned in. He may have built them, but I think they were summoned in. Maybe not. Warp Spiders, however, on the field right now. Again, that invulnerable Hive Tyrant. This is a nice little tactic here that, again, I see Schranz use all the time. He goes for a very fast invulnerability on his Hive Tyrant. And again here, blindly going into Crushing Claws. This is the second game I've seen that. And unfortunately here, he's just going to stick around too long and real blunder. He does quite a bit of damage here to these Howling Banshees. But I don't know why he stuck around for so long and just lost his Hive Tyrant. So a bit of a blunder there. He is quite a tank, but when he's not supported and has a whole army focusing him, yeah, he'll die just like anything else. Unless he's invulnerable, but that wore out a long time ago.